Good morning, good evening, morning, afternoon, night, whenever you find a way to watch or listen to this podcast. I'm recording early, so I just messed up my own intro. But joining me, I have a very special guest. This is about the second time that I've been able to have a coach on the podcast, a head coach of a college football program on the podcast. Joining me right now is Jim Catanzaro from Lake Forest College out in Illinois. And we're discussing just a very intriguing thing that his team is doing. And I'm so excited to talk about it. I'm so grateful that he took the time out of his busy schedule to talk to me and appear on the podcast. So, Coach, how's everything going? Thank you again for joining.
It's going great. Appreciate you having me on. We are winding down here. We got about 2 weeks left of the semester here on campus before final exams, and we're seeing our guys every day. And the nice weather's kind of turned out here in Illinois, where we're no longer worried about cold and snow and things of that nature. And so guys are pretty thrilled and excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the spring weather is nice. I mean, seeing spring games all around, it just shows that college football is close by. I mean, it's just about a little over 4 months, actually. Really unbelievable till the season starts. And so the reason that I have Coach Catanzaro on my podcast is because looking at d3football.com, I was just looking at schedules, just curious like what schedule releases were happening. And I saw that Lake Forest and Claremont Mud Scripts are playing the first Division III game ever in Arizona. And I was thinking, okay, Lake Forest. That doesn't sound like a school that's in Arizona. And surely enough, they are not. They are in Illinois. And Coach is joining me, also as the associate athletic director, is joining me because this is a really intriguing thing that his team is doing. Just in moving this game along with the Claremont Mud Scripts to Arizona. So first, Coach, I want to ask, how did the idea come to be to have this game, this neutral site game in Arizona? Because neutral site games aren't common in Division III. So how did this idea come to be, Coach?
Yeah, so the biggest motivator for this is that when you look at our roster, last year we had 47 guys from the state of Arizona on our team, and next year we're expecting to have over 50. And one of the things that I believe is we are truly Arizona's Division III football program. We're taking their greatest export and bringing it to Chicago to play football. And there's no Division III teams or Division II teams in the entire state of Arizona. And so a chance to showcase what I believe to be one of the best versions of college football on that stage and let people see what it's about, see how talented it is, how high level football is being played. I thought this was a great opportunity. Had a chance to speak to a few people that were parents of our current players and former players who were either, principals, superintendents of schools, things like that. And we started to hatch this brainstorm about 8 years ago. And then COVID hit. We had kind of a plan. We were looking to play Whittier there, and then Whittier shut down their football program. And then we kind of had to go from there and pivot. And so now we've got Claremont Mud Scripts coach Sweeney, who I coached with on Team USA in the Tazadastrels All-Star game a couple of times in the mid-2000s. We kind of hatched the idea of, hey, would you like to come down here? You have to fly to every non-conference game that you have. This would actually give you a chance to drive a bus and save some money. And he was all for it. So, yeah, we're going to have a neutral site game that's, it's neutral site, but it's a home game for us. And so we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's amazing, especially hearing the fact that it's an actual home game. Because looking at it, I thought, man, Claremont Mud Scripts is moving a home game to Arizona. That's nice. But you guys out in Illinois are moving your home game all the way to Arizona, which leads me to my second question. You said that there was 47 players on your roster last year and from Arizona and 50 this year. Arizona to Illinois doesn't seem like a natural pipeline. So I guess how did that come to be? How did that such heavy recruiting for the state of Arizona come to be for a school in Illinois?
Yeah, so prior to coming to Lake Forest, this is 20 plus years ago, I was a junior college recruiter at my previous institution, and Arizona had a really high level top junior college programs. They had, I think, 7 junior college schools that were playing football and would feed across the country. Those schools have now dropped that football league. So when I came to Lake Forest, the academic requirements of students kind of didn't lean towards the junior college recruitment. And I happened to call a buddy of mine that was down there and says, hey, where do the high school kids in Phoenix go to school to play football? He's like, well, they go to ASU or NAU or something like that. I go, well, no, I mean, the guys that aren't Division I. He's like, they don't go play football. And so we were at a time at Lake Forest where we were trying to find a niche. We had kind of a small roster at that time. We're rebuilding this program. And I said, why don't I give it a try? So I recruited a little bit in Phoenix. We got one kid one year, a kid named Steve Yenna. He was a tight end from Basha High School. Ended up being 3-time all-conference player, 2-time team captain. The next year, we got a young man named Brock Varsky from Desert Vista. And it was Brock's dad that kind of served as the catalyst for the growth of our recruitment. He had played football at Arizona State for Frank Kush and played in the Rose Bowl and all that stuff. And he fell in love with the Division III football world. It reminded him of what college football is supposed to be from his time playing versus what he was seeing now. And what he actually did is he got a media pass. And he started going to games and taking pictures of players, posting them on a website for the players to buy. But then he would bring me printed off pictures of the players with the newspaper articles and say, I don't know anything about these kids' grades, but these kids can play. And so then I would start calling those kids. The next year, we got 8 kids from Arizona. And since then, it's continued to build, continued to grow. We actually host a camp in Arizona in May it's a mega camp. We invite about 50 to 60 other colleges to it. We had 600 kids at it last year. And that opportunity is just because we keep going down there. It's been me as the head coach going into Arizona and doing the recruiting every year. So it's the same guy for the coaches to see. And we've had great success with those guys coming here and then graduating and enjoying their experience. They don't come here and, we don't retain them and things like that. They come here, they stay, they enjoy it. They have success. They win some football games and, get great jobs afterwards. So what we have is we fill a niche and a need that is not currently in Arizona. And we've been doing it for 15 years. So people trust and value us and continue to help us.
Wow, that's truly amazing. I mean, I would have never imagined, and clearly it's working. I mean, you guys went 10-1 last year, so it's working for you guys, and I don't doubt that it's not going to continue working. Which, I mean, it's interesting you say that there's a niche not filled, because I feel like as college football changes and professionalizes itself more, there's going to be more of a yearning for the Division II, the Division IIIs, particularly the Division IIIs, regional rivalries, and I guess just continuity from year to year with rosters. So, I mean, it's just great that you guys are filling that niche in Arizona, because people are hungering for the roots and the heart and soul of college football.
Yeah, and I just happened to get lucky, too, that the city of Phoenix doubled in population in the last 15 years. So there became even more football players there, as people transplanted. And, one of the things I realized when I first got out to Arizona is they were mostly transplants. There wasn't a lot of people who actually were like generational Arizona people. They were coming from California. They were, retirees, or their grandparents had moved out there, so they moved with them. And, the number of things you see Chicago influence out there, whether it's the spring training of the Cubs and the White Sox, or you can see a Portillo's and a Giordano's and all that stuff on different street corners. I think that helped with the familiarity as well to make sure that we, continue to build that up.
Absolutely. I mean, the Southwest transplants are real. I grew up in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, which is a heavy area for New York transplants. So yep. I totally get that sentiment. Going on to my next question, Coach. So I know that you're in the region. I don't think it's exactly your conference that competes in these bowl games, the Lakefront Bowl and the Isthmus Bowl. Were those?
We do. We're in the lake. We are in the Lakefront Bowl.
Lakefront Bowl. Okay, my mistake. Were those bowl games inspirations for you to move this home game to Arizona?
No, we have, for better or worse, we haven't had a chance to play in the bowl game yet because we've been in the NCAA playoffs. So some days I'd like to be in that bowl game, but I'd like the Cousins subs, and I think that'd be a really good perk. But we wanted to do this. We had talked about traveling because of our national roster. When you look at a lot of Division III schools, they draw a 5-hour circle around their campus, and that's where they do big recruiting, and then they go maybe one place out of state. For us, because the Chicagoland is so saturated with Division III schools, whether it's the Wisconsin State schools, the private liberal arts around here, we wanted to open up some different markets. And so when you look at our roster next year, I think we'll have 10 kids from California, about 6 from Texas. We'll have the 50 plus from Arizona. And so for us to play a national game, that was important to us. We also thought that it would give us a really good chance to play. I mean, Claremont is a great football program. They've been in the national playoffs, I think, 2 of the last 5 years. They are a talented program. And so for us, it got us an out-of-region game to go and play against a team that will likely be regionally ranked, have a high MPI, and give us a chance to build our credibility for the national playoffs, if we had to go through the at-large process or something like that.
Well, absolutely. And from what I've heard, the at-large process is just a very tough process. I think, is there only like, how many, is it like 4 or 5 slots? I'm not sure
Well,
how many.
we expanded the playoffs last year, so now it was 12 last year.
Okay.
And so, but it is all based on the NPI ranking system. There's no human element in the selection anymore.
Wow.
And actually, we found out that a neutral site game gives you a bump. So, like this may be an unintended. We've done this. We booked this game before the NPI came into ability, or come into existence. So this may actually end up being a bump for us in the NPI rankings.
Wow, that's amazing. I think you saying talking about it being a bump in the MPI. I wanted to ask too. I wasn't going to ask this until the end, but are other schools in the Midwest Conference following suit with neutral site games after seeing you guys take the lead and moving this game to Arizona?
Not yet that I'm aware of. I think that this is a really unique thing for us because of the number of kids we have from Arizona. I don't think you would find another team that has such a high population on their team from a very specific geographic area that would make this as appealing. Now, that's not to say that, hey, if Soldier Field calls up and says you want to play a game here, or play a game in Wrigley Field or something like that, I could definitely see that happening. But I don't think that those things have come to fruition just yet. I think that most teams, because of the expenses, this is a huge undertaking financially. I'm super excited that our campus and school has gotten behind it. Our alums have really contributed. We've had family contributions, a little bit of sponsorship to get going, and but it'll be it's a big money because we're not leaving anybody behind. So I think that's one of the things that's a little bit different too. Is we're not taking this as a travel party. I've been prone to saying around here that we don't leave guys behind when we go to Disneyland, and every game's Disneyland for us. And so we want to make sure that everybody's going with us to this game. And so again, the ability to do that, to have all of our guys there, it would be a bit daunting for some people in their programs financially to do that, especially in the modern era of higher ed and budgets and things like that.
Yeah, that's amazing, especially the fact that it's a home game. Meaning, I guess that those NCAA regulations for travel parties just do not apply, which is
Right.
great that you get to take everyone on that experience because traveling is. I remember, I mean, even in my high school experiences, getting on a bus and driving 3 hours south was something, and just getting to eat chicken fingers at a random diner was was a great experience for a 17-year-old kid. Which brings me to my next question. I know you said you had sponsorships, and I know we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but is the city of Chandler, Arizona, pay Claremont Mud Scripts, or are you guys anything at all? I know you mentioned the sponsorships, but are they contributing anything?
So not necessarily the city, but the Chandler Unified School District, which encompasses about 7 or 8 high schools. They're really helping us out a lot. They're helping us with the field. They're not charging us to use the field. They're not charging us for some of the other things there. We're going to have places to practice when we go down there because we're going to have to do some heated climatization. Obviously, it'll be about 120 degrees there on the day that we play the game. If the average temperature's hitting, it'll probably be about 75 in Chicago. So we'll need to get our guys ready a little bit. So they're being extremely helpful. But in terms of financial considerations or anything like that, no, they're just kind of giving us the ability to do that. But we're actually trying to use it for them as kind of a showcase as well. One school's going to send the anthem singer, one school's going to send the color guard, another one's going to send their band, their dance team, whatever it might be, cheerleaders, just so they can showcase their talents as well, and be a part of the game. And again, have them exposed to small colleges and small college football as well. So hopefully maybe they find this as an interest for their future that they may want to participate in. But yeah, the
Yeah.
Chandler Unified School District, their associate superintendent, Mike Delatorre, has been really great with us. Their athletic directors, staff members there have really, over the last 3 years as we've been planning this, have really been thoughtful and really been helpful in looking for different ways. Hey, coach, you don't have to bring down water coolers. We'll make sure you have Powerade coolers or Gatorade coolers here available for you. And that doesn't sound like a lot until you're thinking about, okay, how are we going to provide all the things we need to, since it's a home game, when we're 28 hours away by truck. We don't want to send it. We don't have the big equipment truck like a Division I team does. So putting that stuff on a plane starts to get pretty pricey if you have to start bringing water coolers and tape and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's amazing the contributions. Like, while it isn't exactly like a check, but the many things that they're contributing, especially like the equipment, especially for you guys, a team that doesn't fly out as much. I mean, it could be taxing, or I guess travel long distances could be taxing, but it's great that they're contributing all that to make this game happen. Which brings me to my last question, kind of a more playful question, but I know you mentioned earlier the Cubs and the White Sox spring training. In the future, would you like to play a game like this in one of those spring training venues? I'm a huge fan of ballpark football, of course. You being in the Chicago, Illinois region, Wrigley Field football has become a huge thing in recent years. But is that something you'd like to do? Just play a game at one of those spring training ballparks?
That would be an awesome idea. We didn't even think about doing that. I think the thing you might run into at some of the spring training places, I'm not sure what the seating capacity, like how the seating on the sidelines are. I feel like those are they probably be in terms of the number of seats, right? But depending where they are, they might not be able to see the field as well. But yeah, that would be great. I didn't even think about that. You might have given me an idea for my next one. So
awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you guys do it, man, I might just have to be there, honestly, because I just love me some ballpark football.
I like that. You know what? That's one we need to put on. I mean, heck, we've got a pretty good relationship with Tom Ricketts, the owner of the Cubs. He's spoken at our graduation, spoke to our team. He actually, when he spoke at graduation here, it was the year they won the World Series, and he wore a Lake Forest football jersey up on the stage under his cap and gown. So I'm all for that. I think that would be the leverage we want to try to pull.
Okay, wow. I mean, shoot, I might have to mark my calendar then. Hopefully that does happen.
Awesome. I like the idea of that. But yeah, we're thrilled to be getting out there, man. Arizona is such a special place. I tell everybody that, when you go out there and you get involved with their high school football community, they bring you in like family, and they will help you. They want their kids to go away to play ball. And I think the fact that we're able to bring those young men back to their home area. I mean, we're going to have guys who are maybe from 2 hours away from Phoenix, but that's a lot closer than being in Chicago, and a lot easier for parents and family. And now you're going to have that extended family and extended friends that, have maybe watched the live webcast, but have never got a chance to see these guys play since they went away to college in person. And they may have watched them play, 40 high school football games and never got a chance to see them play in person in college. And so this will make that pretty exciting. I know we've got one young man, his dad's already asked for 112 tickets. And I'm like, we'll find a way. we'll get that arranged. I don't think I can put those on the pass gate list. I think we might actually have to buy some of those, but we'll get you involved.
Wow, that's awesome. That's amazing. I mean, I'm looking forward to a packed crowd for you guys, and just a great showcase for Division III football out in the state of Arizona. Coach, that's all the questions that I had. Is there anything final that you want to add, sort of advertise Lake Forest football or the college itself?
No, I just appreciate you having us and continue to shine a light on Division III football, man. I think it is one of the greatest ways that the game is played. It's pure. There is we're not getting caught up in the NIL, the transfer portal, all that kind of stuff. We are, just kind of find a school that we fall in love with and create an experience that people want to continue on with. And so I know I'm not alone in that. I know there's 250 other Division III coaches out there that are trying to do the same thing and building their programs and their likeness. And I just think that the more people get exposed to it, there's, as you said, there's going to be that need for that consistency, that need for people who are doing football for the non-business, non-transactional reasons. And the reason, guys like myself and a lot of other coaches are still at the Division III levels because we believe that football is a transformational experience. And it can open up doors for individuals, and it can teach them how to do things just a little bit different and be a part of a team still. And I think that is why Division III football continues to be the beacon of hope in the sport world, if you will, in the Division III level for all sports, because it is still about the individuals, growing and becoming better, not just how much money can I get from my NIL deal. I want this kind of car when I show up on campus. I want this kind of apartment, that type of thing. It's not a material, what can you do for me? It's a very personal and developmental mindset. And I think that's where, when guys like you go ahead and put out articles and put out YouTube videos and things like that, you're going to keep getting me to like it on social media. I have no desire to be on Twitter, Instagram, any of that kind of stuff personally, but from making sure that what we do in Division III football continues to get out there, that's going to keep me locked in and doing that. So I appreciate you doing that.
Oh, of course, Coach. And thank you again for just taking time out of your busy schedule as a coach. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better about Division III football for the viewers and listeners back home. I mean, just tune into Division III football. Honestly, it is the heart and soul of college football. I mean, there's nothing wrong with athletes getting compensated, but it's just become so unregulated and really affected the sport. But if you want to see the transformation of football, like Coach said, at firsthand, then tune into Division III football. There's so many old rivalries. I mean, as well as we see so many rivalries decay, there's just so many old rivalries just to look out. So many programs with rich histories. I mean, there's a lot of Division III programs that have played Power Four programs like way back in the days. So the tradition is rich, and I mean the players are there for the love of the game. So I don't have anything else to say about that.
Yeah, well, you're talking about a team that was once in the Big Ten Conference and has been playing football longer than the state of Arizona has been in existence. So we played our first football game in 1882, and I think they became a state in like 1912. So we got a little bit of history to bring with us to this game too.
Yeah, like Lake Forest, absolutely. But thanks again, everyone, again for listening. Thank you, Coach, for joining, and looking forward, hopefully, to attending one of the Arizona games. Hopefully, in the future, would love to just check out the program firsthand and just see this very unique event.
Awesome, appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. Till next time, everyone. Peace, love, and soul.